How do you like fight crime in an outfit like this? Because you just get instantly too hot, and it's not practical at all. Hey everyone, and welcome to my very first Macom Movies review. So, Charlie's Angels 2019 is a revival of the 2000s reboot of a 1970s TV show. Okay. Our new angels are Kristen Stewart, Naomi Scott, and Ella Balinska. They're supported by a really strong cast, including Elizabeth Banks, who also directed the movie, as well as Patrick Stewart and Sam Claflin. The entire cast gives really strong performances. Everyone just does a really good job. Even the generic bad guys are really good. With Elizabeth Banks directing and a strong cast, this should be a good time, and it does its best. This is the first time Elizabeth Banks is directing an action movie, and I was super excited to see what she could do with it. Her work on Pitch Perfect 3 was really good. She has a unique style and flair, which could be really awesome if you bring it to a female-centric action movie. There's a lot to love about this movie. It's really fun, vibrant, and they travel to a lot of different locations, including Berlin, Hamburg, Istanbul. The agency's really gone global. In terms of plot, this is pretty generic for a spy film. There's a device created by an evil company that could harm a lot of people, and the spies have to get it before the bad guys do. There's nothing really new here. And the plot sets up a lot at the beginning. There's a lot of beats that they have to get through, and there's a lot of twists and turns that they build up, which makes the beginning quite clunky. But once it gets through this, the second half of the movie seems to have a lot more fun with itself. And that's when you start enjoying it more. Another thing that I really liked about this movie was the team dynamic. The angels started off not really gelling well together at all. The one was a bit of a lone ranger, the other really annoying, and there was a new recruit. So they weren't really a cohesive unit at the start of the film, but as the film progresses, they developed a really plausible friendship. You really believed that they were kind of evolving as characters, although only one of them really had a character arc. They just seemed to form a team that you believe could actually work together really well. The action scenes follow the same trend. At the beginning, they're a little hard to follow, they're a little bit messy, and they progressively get better throughout the film. They get more and more polished, which could be Elizabeth Banks sort of finding her feet. The best two fight scenes by far come at the end of the second act and in the third act. Those are really entertaining to watch, and it's also when the angels have sort of formed a more cohesive bond and are working together better. So the whole film seems to progressively get much better towards the end, which I think is okay. This movie does have a few flaws. Although there's a lot of twists and turns, it's not much more complicated than your favorite TV crime drama. And there are a lot of jokes, and most of them don't land. The editing probably doesn't help, but there's a lot that are really forced and just aren't funny at all. To be honest, if they swapped out the trio in this movie for a sequel, I really wouldn't mind if I didn't see them all again. And that's where I think the 2000s movies were superior. I felt like those angels were just more iconic. When considering the feminist approach, if you put Transformers at 0 and Wonder Woman at 100, Charlie's Angels probably comes in around 65. It tries really hard, and although it hits quite a lot, it also has a few misses. But that doesn't detract from it at all. It doesn't spoil the movie in any way. It's still a really fun time. So Charlie's Angels definitely sets up sequels. Whether or not that happens, I don't know. Either way, I hope Elizabeth Banks gets more opportunities like this because I feel like she definitely deserves them. But does this mean we're getting an Angels verse?